Hello all, welcome back to Time to Dice Character Creation. We're making your favorite fictional characters, Pathfinder Starfighter, 2nd edition. Today we're taking our first steps into the world of Jujutsi Kaisen, with none other than Yuji Itadori. Yuji lived a normal life until a bizarre twist of fate led to him eating one of Sukuna's fingers, becoming the cursed king's unwilling vessel. Many demanded Yuji's immediate execution for this dangerous transgression, but instead he was given a second chance, enrollment at Tokyo Jujutsu High. There, he was tasked with tracking down the rest of Sukuna's fingers, absorbing them, and ending the threat of the King of Curses once and for all. So beware of spoilers, and without further ado, let's get started. So what do we need to make Sukuna's vessel? Well, first off, in a world where nearly everyone has a unique curse technique that grants them superhuman powers, Itadori stands out by relying on good old-fashioned, garden variety super strength to devastate his foes. But when brute force isn't enough, we need to be able to channel our cursed energy to enhance our attacks, unleashing techniques like the devastating Divergent Fist and the reality-warping Black Flash. And finally, to truly become Sukuna's vessel, we need to be, well, a vessel. That means, while we usually have control of our body, we occasionally relinquish that control to the world's most powerful Jujutsu sorcerer, whether we like it or not. Itadori is a human, which gives us 8 hit points, medium size, and a boost to strength and dexterity. We start with a 25-foot movement speed and take the versatile heritage, which lets us pick up the toughness general feat. This nets us bonus hit points equal to our level and reduces the DC of any recovery checks we have to make by 1. And hey, if you're tired of hearing yet another human character, just imagine how tired I am of finding new ways to describe their abilities. Itadori attends a school that trains its students how to hunt down, fight, and exercise curses. A school that emphasizes combat makes the martial disciple background a perfect fit. It boosts our strength and constitution scores and grants us training in athletics and warfare lore, as well as giving us the quick jump skill feat. This handy feat reduces the action cost of both our high jumps and our long jumps to a single action, helping us outmaneuver opponents with ease. For our class, Jujutsi Kaisen could honestly be titled Oops All Monks, since nearly every character in it feels like they're rocking a monk class, either as their main class or at least through a multi-class archetype, and Yuji is no exception. As a monk, we get a sturdy 10 hit points per level to reflect our supernatural durability, while our perception score will start at trained. All of our saving throws, as well as our unarmored defense proficiency, start at expert, giving us a solid defensive core. For our skills, we're obviously picking up acrobatics to reflect Yuji's insane agility and explosive movement. We'll also take diplomacy for convincing the higher-ups not to execute us despite the whole embodiment of evil inside of us thing, survival for tracking down curses, and occultism for exercising them once we do. And finally, we get training in unarmed attacks for devastating fist strikes. Now, let's break down the attribute scores. Strength will be a +4. Yuji's raw power lets him go toe-to-toe with actually trained sorcerers, and sometimes even come out on top. This one is kind of a no-brainer. Dexterity clocks in at a +2. Winning a fistfight against a special grade means dodging more than a few instant death moves. Constitution is also at a +2. Yuji has incredible stamina, often continuing to fight even after sustaining brutal injuries, severed limbs, stab wounds, you name it. Intelligence and wisdom are both at +0. Yuji is a solid student, but let's face it, he's only just entered the world of Jujutsu, and the learning curve is pretty steep. And finally, charisma is at +1. Despite his many complications, Yuji is a genuinely likable guy, and it's hard not to root for him. Monks get 2 core features right out of the gate: Flurry of Blows and Powerful Fist. Powerful Fist upgrades our unarmed strike damage from D4s to D6s, and allows us to remove the non-lethal trait. Yuji is one of those non-killing heroes though, so that part's not quite as useful. Flurry of Blows, however, lets us make 2 strikes with a single action, and if those strikes hit the same creature, we combine the damage before applying resistances and weaknesses. Think of it as a rapid-fire exorcism. Thanks to the Natural Ambition Ancestry feat, we grab 2 class feats at level 1. Key Strike lets us flavor our Divergent Fist by imbuing our strikes with cursed energy. It lets us make a strike or flurry of blows with a +1 status bonus to the attack rolls, and deal an extra d6 of damage of a type we choose: Force, Spirit, Vitality, or Void. And Key Rush lets us tap into our inner superhuman leg power, propelling us faster than any human should reasonably go. When casting the spell, we get 2 actions to stride or step, and during this movement we move so fast that we blur out of view, giving us concealment until our next round. At level 2, it's finger food time. We take the Living Vessel dedication, because you can't be Sukuna's vessel without a certain horrifying snack. This gives us the Entity's Resurgence reaction. When we would be reduced to 0 hit points, we instead stay at 1 hit point, and gain temporary hit points equal to our level plus our strength modifier. For 1 minute or until we drop again, Sukuna takes over, granting us a +1 status bonus to our attack and damage rolls. The GM usually roleplays Sukuna, who has one priority: violently protect his vessel. We also pick up the hefty Holler skill feat, which increases our maximum and encumbered bulk limits by 2, for those moments when you need to throw a car at somebody. Everyone has those days, right? Level 3 monks get Mystic Strikes. By channeling our cursed energy into our fist, Our unarmed attacks become magical, bypassing resistances and immunities to non-magical damage. That's pretty crucial in a world where just about every enemy laughs at normal punches. We also gain incredible movement, which grants us a 10-foot status bonus to our speed while not wearing armor, scaling up as we level. And to stack that speed even further, we'll take the general feat Fleet, giving us additional 5 feet of movement. If you can't outpunch a curse, outrun it, and then come back around for a flying kick. Speaking of which, at level 4, we take the Flying Kick class feat, because leaping into battle is basically Yuji's love language. This feat lets us leap or jump, and if we land adjacent to a foe, even in midair, we can immediately make an unarmed strike against them. After the strike we fall, but if the distance is no greater than our jump height, we land upright and take no damage. Yuji's always been the leap before you look kind of guy. This just means fewer broken bones for his trouble. We'll upgrade this feat further with a powerful leap skill feat, increasing our horizontal distance by 5 feet every time we launch ourselves into the air. Whether it's rooftop chases or mid-air drop kicks, Yuji's got it covered. Level 5 monks get perception expertise and expert strikes, increasing our proficiency with unarmed strikes and letting us apply the critical specialization effect for the brawling group. That means on a crit, the target must succeed at a fortitude save against our class DC or be slowed 1 for a round. Yuji may not have decades of formal training, but he's definitely pretty quick to adapt. And to reflect that knack for improvisation, we'll take the Clever Improviser general feat. It boosts our proficiency bonus for untrained skill checks to equal to our level -1, and lets us use our actions that would normally require training. In other words, Yuji may not know the technique, but he'll figure it out mid-fight. So basically, we're every shonen anime protagonist. At level 6, it's time to channel our inner Black Flash with the 1-inch punch class feat. This technique lets us unleash a devastating focused strike. We can spend 2 or 3 actions when using it. At 2 actions, if we hit, we deal 1 extra weapon damage die. And if we spend 3 actions, we deal 2 extra damage die instead. It's a great burst option, but spending multiple actions can be tough on your action economy. So lining it up takes a bit of strategy, and you probably won't be able to land multiple Black Flashes in a row. But still, when it hits like a truck. We also take the Combat Climber skill feat at this level, letting us climb with a free hand and stay mobile while we're throwing punches. Some Care Spirits have insane verticality, so we need to be able to fight wherever the battlefield takes us, rooftops, cliff sides, or even the side of a speeding train. Level 7 monks get their first path to perfection, and we'll be applying it to our fortitude saves. This brings our fortitude proficiency up to master, and lets us treat any success on a fortitude save as a critical success. The side effect of being Sukuna's unwilling roommate is that Yuji seems remarkably resistant to the worst effects of poisons, diseases, and other body-wrecking nonsense. We'll also pick up weapon specialization, giving us a small damage boost to all of our strikes, making Yuji even harder to put down. We'll take the Die Hard general feat, letting us survive until dying 5 instead of dying 4. If there's one thing Yuji has, it's the unkillable persistence of a cockroach infestation at a junkyard. No matter how much you spray, he keeps coming back. At level 8, we somehow convince Sukuna to teach us reverse curse technique by taking the Tap Vitality class feat. This lets us draw on Sukuna's immense life force to restore our own, healing HP equal to 4 times our level. But beware, each use lets a little more of Sukuna's personality and instincts bleed through, forcing you to spend an hour or more to calm your inner demon to fully regain control. Pro tip, in this instance, yoga probably isn't going to cover it. We'll also grab the wall jump skill feat, adding some stylish parkour to our kit. If we're adjacent to a wall at the end of our jump, we don't fall, as long as our next action is another jump off of that wall. This follow-up jump becomes a single action high or long jump without needing a stride. We can only use wall jump once per turn, at least until we hit legendary athletics, at which point we can wall kick as much as our action economy allows. At level 9, we lean into Yuji's raw power by taking the multi-talented Ancestry feat to pick up the Barbarian archetype. This grants us the Rage action, letting us forgo our defenses in exchange for an all-out offense. While raging, we gain a +2 damage bonus on all of our strikes, though this is half to +1 when we're using agile weapon like our fists. Keep in mind, while raging, we also take a -1 penalty to our AC, and we can't use actions with the concentrate trait. So it's best to wait until we've burned through all of our focus points before flying off the handle. We're not abandoning the monk path though. Level 9 monks also gain metal strikes, which lets our unarmed strikes count as cold iron and silver, bypassing a wide array of resistances, and monk expertise, boosting our class DC to expert. At level 10, we gain the instinct ability for our chosen instinct, in this case the spirit instinct. This increases our bonus damage from +2 to +3, and converts it to spirit damage. On top of that, our attacks gain the Ghost Touch rune, perfect for punching ghosts. And as a very wise sage once said, have you ever met a ghost you didn't want to punch? We'll round out this level by picking up the Kip Up skill feat, letting us stand up from prone as a free action without provoking any enemy reactions. Getting back on your feet quickly is key when you're in a fight for your life. With Numb to Death at level 11, our past experiences have left us numb to Death's call. The first time each day that we regain hit points while dying, we gain a circumstance bonus to the healing equal to our level. And more importantly, we don't gain or increase the wounded condition. This level also gives us our second path to perfection, boosting our reflex saves to master proficiency, just like we did for our fortitude saves earlier. Whether we choose to dodge or tank attacks, Yuji is built to avoid the worst of what the battlefield can throw us way. Level 12 shows just how strong we've become. We'll pick up Intimidating Strike through the basic Fury feat, letting us make a melee strike that can frighten foes. On a hit, the target becomes frightened 1, and on a critical hit, it becomes frightened 2. It's not magic, we're just that scary powerful. We also pick up the Catfall skill feat, putting our incredible durability to the test even against gravity. This feat reduces fall damage based off of our acrobatics proficiency, making it easier to bounce back from even the most brutal drops. Level 13 monks get Master Strikes and Graceful Mastery, increasing both our unarmored defense and our unarmed attack proficiencies to master. And with the Witch Warden Ancestry feat, we gain a +1 circumstance bonus to saves against curses and spells cast by witches or hags, and on a success against those effects, we get a critical success instead. We pick up Overwhelming Breath at level 14, allowing us to punch through our opponent's resistances. When we use this action, if our next action is cast a spell with Monk trait and no duration, like our Key Strike, that spell, and any resulting strikes from it, ignore physical resistance equal to our level, helping us to ensure that every hit counts. We'll also grab Titan Wrestler, letting us disarm, grapple, reposition, shove, or trip creatures up to 2 size categories larger than us, or even 3 size categories larger if we eventually become legendary in athletics. Size doesn't matter when you've trained your body to move mountains. And at level 15, our unarmed damage climbs once again with greater weapon specialization, and we unlock the third path to perfection, this time bringing our reflex saves to legendary, and letting us now treat our critically failed reflex saves as just failed saves, and half the damage from failed saves. That's right, even AoEs struggle to touch us now. To top it off, we'll grab Incredible Initiative, giving us a +2 bonus on all initiative checks. When you're fast enough to dodge attacks at the speed of sound, you're also fast enough to strike before those attacks are even launched in the first place. At level 16, we unlock one of our most powerful, yet most risky feats yet, Vessel's Form. This lets us fully surrender to Sukuna, unleashing his terrifying power. While Sukuna is in charge, we become large and our reach increases to 10 feet. We gain a +2 status bonus on attack and damage rolls, and a +1 saving throw against all spells. We also get 40 temporary hit points to make sure that Sukuna can stick around for a while, and if we trigger Entity's Resurgence during this time, our attack and damage bonus is increased to +3. And finally, we gain a fly speed equal to our land speed for this duration. We pair this with the Cloud Jump skill feat, letting us take our absurd agility to new heights. Literally. On a successful long jump, we triple the distance, and on a successful high jump, we use the long jump formula for calculating distance, but without tripling it. Yuji's been getting insane airtime since episode 1, and now we have the math to prove it. At level 17, we pick up Bounce Back. This reflects Yuji's freakish ability to recover from the brink of death. When we lose the dying condition, we don't increase our wounded condition. Monks at this level also gain Adamantine Strikes, letting our unarmed attacks bypass even the hardest of resistances, and Graceful Legend, granting us legendary proficiency and unarmored defense. At level 18, we dip back into the Barbarian side with Barbarian's Resiliency. This gives us 3 extra hit points for every Barbarian feat we've taken so far. At this point, that's 12 bonus hit points. Not a lot, but can absolutely be the difference between standing tall and greeting the afterlife. For our skill feat, we'll take Rolling Landing, letting us turn any fall into an opportunity for repositioning. If we fall without taking damage, we can use our reaction to immediately stride without provoking reactions. This will usually provoke from our Catfall skill feat, but it will also trigger from a Flying Kick, because nothing says momentum like turning a mid-air punch into a tactical reposition. It took to level 19, but we can finally pick up the Break Curse General feat that lets us exercise curses the old-fashioned way. By spending 8 hours performing prayers and occult rituals, we can attempt to counteract a curse using our occultism skill at half our level as the counteract rank. Sure, it's not exactly the flashiest method, and it's definitely not how most Jujutsu sorcerers do it, but sometimes you need a little traditional ghost busting. But if you're looking for something a bit more exciting from our penultimate level, well, you're in luck, because monks also get Perfected Form. Now, on our first strike each turn, if we roll lower than a 10 on the die, we treat that roll as a 10 instead. Delivering some of the most devastating strikes known to man isn't really as impressive if none of those strikes hit. At level 20, we finish strong with the Enduring Quickness class feat. This makes us permanently quickened, giving us an extra action every turn that we can use to stride, leap, high jump, or long jump. This lets us stay mobile nearly every combat round, dodging attacks like a demon or chasing down fleeing enemies with ease. For our final feat, we'll pick up Slippery Prey, which eliminates the multiple attack penalty on our escape attempts. Trying to hold Yuji down? Well, good luck. He's squirmier than a cursed eel in a bucket of oil. And that wraps up our build for Yuji Itadori and Pathfinder 2nd Edition. We've got speed, strength, stamina, relentless spirit, and the absolute worst roommate imaginable. Whether it's fist flying, cursed exercise, or sheer grit carrying us through the fight, this build captures the essence of the most determined Jujutsu sorcerer in the game. If you enjoyed this build and want to see more anime characters brought to life in Pathfinder or Starfighter 2nd Edition, be sure to like, subscribe, and let us know who you'd like to see next. Got a favorite sorcerer, swordsman, or spirit-infested protagonist you want on the table? Drop it in the comments. We're always looking for our next challenge. But until next time, keep rolling high, and we'll catch you in the next one.